Hello and welcome back to Hestia's Muse, podcast for astrological devotionals. My name is Liliana Blackstar, and I am here to bring you a spiritual devotional of self-discovery and personal growth that is in some way inspired by astrology. Join me to tune into astrological transits and the Wheel of the Year for inspiration in your greatest task in life, to know yourself. Hello friends and welcome back. I am Liliana Blackstar of Hestia's Muse, and I'm here today to talk about another tarot card and its association with astrology. So we've been going through the tarot cards and the minor arcana specifically, and today we're going to talk about the Nine of Wands. So each of the tarot cards are in some way associated with an astrological sign, a decan, a season, or a planet. The Nine of Wands is associated with the second decan of Sagittarius. So this is from 10 degrees through the 19th degree of Sagittarius. And this is the decan of Sagittarius that is subruled by the moon. Each sign is ruled by a planet, and then each decan is also ruled by a planet. You can think of this as a shift manager or a sub-ruler. So while the entire sign of Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the middle 10 degrees of Sagittarius are also sub-ruled by the moon. So you can think of this section of Sagittarius to be very lunar in nature. When the sun or any other planets are moving through the middle section of Sagittarius, they're going to have a strong influence from the moon, regardless of where the moon is. So you could think of this section of the zodiac or the season of when the sun is going through the middle of Sagittarius to be very lunar in nature. So the tarot card associated with the second decan of Sagittarius is the Nine of Wands. And therefore you can also interpret the Nine of Wands as having a very strong lunar influence, or to represent the moon in Sagittarius. So don't get stuck on thinking that this card only represents the moon in Sagittarius. But just remember that when you're interpreting this card, you want to bring in meaning of Sagittarius and meaning of the moon when you interpret this card. So let's take a look at the Nine of Wands. Generally, you're going to see a figure who looks bandaged or beat up. He's been through some stuff. And he's standing holding a wand, and behind him are 8 more wands. So the Nine of Wands represents resilience and determination. There is an implication that this person has already faced many challenges, but they are ready for the next hurdle. This card can symbolize a stage in your journey where obstacles have been encountered, but you're still feeling resilience and strength and tenacity to keep going. The figure in the card has a guarded stance, showing that they are prepared for whatever is coming next. They might be feeling a little bit on the defensive side, but despite feeling tired and having gone through a lot already, there's a readiness to face whatever is coming next. This card can encourage you to remain steadfast in your pursuits, and it highlights that there is a strength gained from overcoming previous difficulties, and a resilience to work towards the final stages of the journey. It's a 9, so in the tarot, the 9s are nearing the end of some part of a cycle or a journey. So you've already been through so much, but you have to keep going just a little bit farther. So some key words and key concepts of the Nine of Wands are caution, defense, determination, endurance, fortitude, inner strength, perseverance, persistence, preparedness, resilience, standing guard, strength, tenacity, vigilance, and wariness. The symbolism of the Nine of Wands emphasizes the significance of resilience and courage to face adversity head on. The wands behind the figure can be symbolic of a fortress, representing your determination to protect what you have built or what you've worked so hard for. So this is not necessarily an offensive energy of battle, but it is a defensive energy of battle. You might not have the strength to be going out on the offensive and attacking someone, but you are standing firm and ready to defend what you have built, what you have worked for, and what you have achieved so far. I kind of feel like this is the situation of, yeah, this person isn't necessarily going to go out and attack you, but if you try to attack them on their home ground, this is the F around and find out card, right? Like, they are going to fight you with so much determination. They might look tired, but if they're backed into a corner and this is the end of the line and they've got everything to lose, all that they've worked for, they're going to fight really hard. So this card suggests that you might be tired, you're weary, you're beat up, you've been through it. But the inner strength that you've derived from the journey is a powerful resource. Like, you've come so far, you're not going to give up now. You're too close to the end. You've gone through too much. You're not going to just walk away from it at this point. So there's an energy of reflecting on the value of persistence and standing firm in the face of challenges, and ultimately of being empowered and the ability to overcome challenges through your own inner strength, through your own inner resolve and your commitment to the goal. So let's look at how this card is a card of the moon. The moon represents our emotional landscape and the nurturing or emotional aspects of life. It symbolizes our instincts, intuitions, reactions, and subconscious patterns. So the moon offers insight into our inner world, and it mirrors the cycles of life, how things ebb and flow and change, but also return to the way they were before. So the influence over our moods and responses to things through this waxing and waning energy of the moon, it's deeply personal, and the moon shapes our emotional needs and reactions based on the zodiac sign that it occupies. In a natal chart, it can signify your emotional habits, your nurturing style, your receptivity, and how you navigate the intricacies of human emotions. And then the moon in transit day to day guides you to attune to this more cosmic rhythm and navigate your feelings with a deeper understanding of the different energies that come in as it moves through a different sign. So the moon in Sagittarius brings a sense of adventure and expansion to the atmosphere. This transit aligns the emotional and instinctive aspects of the moon with the free-spirited and optimistic qualities of Sagittarius. So the influence of Sagittarius encourages a thirst for knowledge, a desire for exploration, and a really optimistic outlook on life. And when the moon comes into Sagittarius, then emotions are going to be expressed with enthusiasm, right? The need for personal freedom and personal expression is heightened. And the moon in Sagittarius is going to invite you to embrace a broader perspective, engage in open-minded conversations, and seek meaning and wisdom in your emotional experiences. So it encourages a spontaneous and adventurous approach to life's journey, inspiring a sense of curiosity and a willingness to explore new horizons, not just intellectually, but emotionally. So Sagittarius is often associated with matters of philosophy, religious beliefs, justice, and ethics. The moon here means that our emotions are going to be also driven by our personal ethics, our sense of justice, and our personal beliefs or philosophies. What we believe to be true about the world deeply influences how we feel about the world and how we feel about things that happen to us, right? We feel that something is unjust, or we feel that something is aligned with our ethics or is not aligned with our ethics. We feel strongly about our personal beliefs and our personal philosophies. So this is where emotion is very deeply connected to the Sagittarius matters of philosophy and religion and justice, right? Also, the moon in Sagittarius is influenced by the fire element, which means that it is stimulating a desire for action, and our moods and emotions are guided by our passions and our inner drive, or that inner spark. And then finally, as a mutable sign, the moon in Sagittarius is really open to change, and it tries to remain flexible in new situations and have a curiosity and a willingness to adjust for the right reasons. Being that Sagittarius is so deeply tied to our personal philosophies and our beliefs, there has to be something that guides us to change or be flexible in our beliefs, or we're not going to be as flexible and willing to change, right? Changing our beliefs, remaining open-minded is actually pretty hard to do when it comes to our philosophies and our religion or our spiritual beliefs, right? So let's put it all together. How is the Nine of Wands a card of the moon and of Sagittarius, or a card of the moon in Sagittarius? It might not be immediately apparent how the defensive and guarded imagery on this card relates to the optimistic and fortunate sign of Sagittarius. However, I think that with close examination, we can see that a person who has experienced hardship but is still persevering and fighting for their cause, that person is being optimistic and hopeful. You don't stand there and keep fighting after you've been put through the ringer and been beaten down if you're not optimistic or experiencing some kind of hope. So this is a person who either believes that they will find the strength to triumph, or they remain steadfast in the belief that their cause is worth fighting for regardless of the outcome. So either way, they are feeling very strongly about their beliefs. They believe that what they're fighting for is worth fighting for. And they have some level of hope that either they will prevail in the end, or that even if they don't, it was worth putting their energy into. And this is very Sagittarius to me, right? This unwavering conviction is a hallmark of Sagittarius energy. Once a Sagittarius has committed to a philosophy, an ethical stance, or a spiritual belief, they are going to utilize all of their fiery willpower to defend that position. And then when we incorporate the energy of the moon, it combines our efforts and our willpower with our emotional conviction and our intuition. So this means that the cause that we are fighting for is not only supported by our logic and education, but by a strong feeling or an intuitive drive. And this very much feels at this point like more of a spiritual cause, right? And it doesn't have to mean religious to mean spiritual. It just means that like the spirit is very guided to follow this path. And what we are fighting for is not just about the logic behind it, but very much also about the feeling. And so the emotional aspect of the moon adds to the tenacity and persistence needed to defend our position. Passion strengthens our determination, enabling us to remain steadfast in our cause, despite any challenges that we might face. So, in this sense, our unwavering faith has brought us this far, and we've been through so much already, and so we have more faith, and this is the source of our strength to persevere and keep going. So, I have a list of questions that you can ask yourself as a devotional practice with the Nine of Wands. You can journal these questions, you can meditate on these questions, or you can even draw some tarot cards to help use divination to help you answer these questions. So I will give a moment if you want to pause and write them down. What am I feeling defensive about? What has me feeling worn down, overly cautious, and wary? What is the source of my inner strength? What are my most strongly held beliefs or philosophies? How can I apply these beliefs or philosophies to the current battles that I am fighting? Are there any battles or conflicts I can walk away from because continuing to fight them does not align with my personal ethics, values, beliefs, or philosophies? Are there any battles or conflicts that I need to strengthen my resolve in because the matter at hand does strongly align with my personal ethics and beliefs? What part of my personal beliefs, either spiritual or philosophical, can I tap into to find strength when I am feeling weary? And what is the ultimate optimism or hope that keeps me going when life is hard? So these questions or this talk about the tarot card might be especially helpful anytime that you draw the Nine of Wands in a tarot card reading, anytime that the moon is in Sagittarius at any degree, when any planet is in the middle 10 degrees of Sagittarius, so 10 through the 19th degree. If you have moon in Sagittarius in your birth chart at any degree, then this card has some special meanings for you throughout your life. And if you have any planets in the middle 10 degrees of Sagittarius in your birth chart, then this card may have special meaning in your life also. So previously I have talked about the moon with two other tarot cards that are on the podcast. They are the Two of Wands, which was related to the moon in Libra, and the Four of Cups, which was related to the moon in Cancer. So if you wish, you can look back on these cards for more examples of how the moon's influence changes depending on what sign it's in. If you're studying the moon, it's important to understand that it's the moon, but it's the moon in what sign. And so I hope that this has given you some deeper insight into the tarot card, the Nine of Wands. And I also hope that this card study has given you some deeper insight into the sign of Sagittarius and into the moon, and specifically the moon in Sagittarius. Because that is the goal here, to deepen your understanding of the card and of astrology by studying them together. Additionally, I hope that this has given you some better understanding of yourself, because we all have these Nine of Wands moments, right? We all have these moments where we are weary and worn down, but we are like getting ready to push forward and continue battling for what we believe in really strongly. We have moments where we are worn down and tired, but we are going to keep going with determination and persistence and resilience and really stand our ground, because we just believe in ourselves or in our purpose so strongly. Right? So looking at this card and reflecting on those moments in your life can help you see like what it is that you believe in. What do you really value in life? What are you willing to fight for? And that you do have so much inner strength that is bolstered by your personal beliefs, your philosophies, your spirituality, and your personal ethics. These are the things that give you like a deep well of inner strength. And so if you need strength, you got to dig deep and find your personal philosophy, your beliefs, your spirituality, and your ethics. And if those things can be applied to the thing you're fighting for, then you're going to have a lot of strength. If those things do not align with the thing you're fighting for, you're going to wear yourself out. You're fighting for something that you don't really believe in. And maybe you should reconsider why you're fighting for that, right? So, anyways, I hope that you all have a lovely week. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. And we will talk to you again soon.